What happened to you health-wise during COVID?
So yeah, I got COVID twice, and was it the first or second? It was the first time I got it. 3 months after I got it, I had long COVID, which is pretty much retaining effects of the virus, and mine was 100% on the mental health aspect. So if people experience the brain fog, the lack of focus, the delusional, just like unaware of where you are every day type thing, if you experience that at all while you had COVID for those 6 or 7 days, typically, I started developing those symptoms long term. And I remember the day I felt it. Like I remember going to bed, waking up, and experiencing life that day, and I felt different. In 28 years of my life, I had never had a thought of anxiety or sadness. I just woke up super joyful and optimistic every day, and I was like, why am I like, I didn't even know what anxiety, I literally didn't even know what anxiety was. I had to Google what anxiety was. And I was feeling the feelings, but I didn't know what the thing was. And I started diving into it more and more, didn't understand it. There was no studies done on it yet because we were a year into having the virus. So it's been a challenge. It's still a challenge every single day. I've learned to adapt to it, take proper medication, but it's been self-discovery for 3 years now, which it sucked. I've had to quit art. I've had to move to a different part of the country. I've had to uproot my entire life and change my entire life to adapt to it. And that sucks, but I'm glad that I've figured out the formula now on the other side of it.
It is tough. At same age as you, I think I was 27 when I had, it wasn't the first bad panic attack in my life, but I never had any lingering anxiety issues. I maybe had 2 bad panic attacks before, and then a plane was stalled on tarmac, and I just never afraid to fly, and never any like daily anxiety, and I just lost it and got off. Anxiety dissipated, but after that, I had to deal with all these lingering effects of not wanting or being able to fly again, which I had to work through and go to a lot of therapy.
Do you still have that?
Yeah, it's the struggle flying. So there's some things I do. Like when I was in therapy, elevators were hard and can be difficult for me, just claustrophobia. And I got locked in a car when I was young too and thought I was going to die. So that might have something to do with it. That was for like 45 minutes, but I got over that one. Even standstill traffic. So just like being stuck was difficult. And when you're doing a lot of those daily mental health exercises, it does get better. But I have been traveling recently. I just take some meds when I fly and I can get through it. But yeah, it's stuff you need to work on every day if you want to get better, I feel. So I literally just got back into seeing someone for therapy for the first time in a couple years, and I'm looking forward to that. And it's just good to be accountable and get in a routine.
Dude, and you have to have the willingness and the grace with yourself to accept where you're at with your journey, understand what things are happening in your day-to-day that might not be your best version of yourself, and then finding the help to treat it. And at my worst, I had to catch a flight out of here in a day's notice. I flew to California and looked for a clinic to help me with my stuff. And I flew to Miami, and I was at a pretty much an inpatient clinic for 3 weeks and paid a lot of money to be there, and didn't even know if it was going to solve my problems, but I had no other choice. It was wild, but I did it. They helped me tremendously, and I've had to figure it out since, and I'm on different meds now, and now I'm living a very good version of myself, which I'm beyond grateful for. But it's taken 3 years to figure it out.
Yeah, proud of you, man. I think the hard thing too with mental health is there's no real timetable either. It's not like you break an ankle and these are the PT exercises you need to do to get better.
It's so hard to keep track of. Like if you break your elbow, you can feel it every day. Okay, can I move it a little bit more? Or can I do this or that? But with mental health, like unless you keep a beyond steady life of everything staying the same and you can track it day after day of how do I feel just organically, because if you go experience something cool, obviously you're probably gonna be more happy that day, but that doesn't necessarily reflect how your mental health journey is going. So that is by far the biggest struggle, not being able to like track it every day unless you're just beyond honest with yourself, but also having the clarity and the focus to like be like, hey, where am I at with my journey, when like you might just be really sad and not want to think about what you want to eat right now. Like it's a tough thing to diagnose it and figure it out.
It seems like diving into the wood artistry and doing that full time, it seems like you're very intrinsically motivated
Oh my,
by
yeah.
that, which I would think would help a lot. Just mental health
And,
wise, it's probably good for you to be doing something that you're
and
immersed in.
and trust me, I knew things were bad when I didn't want to be in my studio. Wood art was my favorite thing, and cutting wood and listening to loud music and just like being in my zone. And when things were really bad with my mental health journey, I couldn't even walk into my studio. And I was like, oh, this is not good. Like I had so much anxiety being there. And I was like, okay, I got to rewire my whole life. I got to figure this out. So I years ago, I posted, I think it was like a year and a half ago. I posted a piece and I said, this is my last piece of art. I said, I finished it. It took me 6 months to finish it. I've had to take breaks. I posted, I said, this is the most important piece of art I've ever built because it might be my last one. I said, I'm leaving Milwaukee. I'm leaving my art. I'm going to just go to California and figure life out. And thankfully I've been able to come back and reintegrate myself with it. But I was fully convinced that I wasn't coming back to this. Yeah.
It's a good story and an important one for anyone listening who is dealing with mental health, because it does show that however bad you are, you can get better if you do put in the work. It's not a permanent condition, but you have to keep putting it into. That's what I've realized too. Like ever since that incident happened with me, which was probably 7 years ago now,
Yeah.
I'll go in spurts when I'm better and when I'm worse. And usually when I'm better, can at least have that better baseline. It's
Yeah.
always when I'm doing the exercises on a daily basis, essentially.
1,000%. And I'm in a very, I'm grateful. I'm in a very good place with my life right now, in a good headspace, and that's all I care about. Like everything else happening externally is a bonus. People are there's a couple DMs this week, and especially like with the Crayola thing rolling around and just some other exciting stuff. People are like, "Hey, what was the coolest thing that happened this week?" I was like, and I just reply very simply, I'm like, "I'm happy. That's the coolest thing that happened this week." And I woke up today.
Yeah.
Like everything beyond, like at the root of it, when you can get to that level of self-awareness and perspective of life, that you got to wake up today and you're happy and stoked on life, like everything else is just external factors, and it's cool. I'm not trying to underplay it, but like you being happy and living to your true purpose that's it.
Yeah.
That's all I strive for in myself, and I hope to integrate into other people's lives if they're willing to like explore that, you know?